two quick questions for you. Are you seeing AI generated content all over your feed lately? The kind that's everywhere but somehow says nothing? And have you noticed your own friends and family posting less than they used to? You're not imagining either one. And if you run a local business, what's happening here is actually a bigger opportunity than it looks. Welcome to the Get Digital Marketing Results podcast, where we give you information and actionable tips to grow your organization.
Hi, I'm Bob Clark.
And I'm Donna Body. We're with Delos Inc. And today we're talking about social media and AI content fatigue and why local businesses like yours may have an advantage when people are tired of generic content.
So let's talk about what's going on because the numbers back up the feeling. People across every age group are actually spending less time scrolling than they were a couple years ago. They're muting, unfollowing, setting timers, putting the phone in another room. They're not quitting entirely, but they're getting picky about what they stop scrolling for.
And a big reason is that so much of the feed has started to feel the same. The algorithms keep serving up similar content until it all blurs together and people end up feeling worn out instead of inspired. Now, add a flood of AI generated posts on top of that, and the sameness gets even worse.
Right. And here's the part I think local business owners miss. When people get tired of polished and generic, what they start craving is the opposite: something real, someone real. And that is exactly the thing you have that a national brand and an AI tool do not. More content is not automatically more connection. If your plan is to use AI and to flood your social channels with generic tips, you are actually adding to the noise people are already trying to tune out.
And here's the big idea: you don't need 10,000 followers, you need 500 neighbors. AI doesn't live in your town, you do. You're the one who knows the streets, the seasons, the local quirks, the actual customers. So the question becomes, what does the real experience of your business look like, and how do you put that out where people can see it?
It's not a personal diary, but it usually means the stuff you don't think to post, the actual job you finished this week, your real crew, the owner's face and voice instead of a stock photo, a real customer who you helped and what their problem actually was. Even something only a local would know, like how would you handle that one tricky neighborhood or the weather you all just dealt with.
And that's the part that national brands have to work hard to fake, but you already have it, and it builds exactly what you need: know, like, and trust with your potential customers.
This also changes how you look at engagement. If people are posting less publicly or scrolling less, they may still be paying attention in quieter ways.
Someone may not like or comment, but they might save your post, send it to a spouse, mention it later, or reply privately, or remember you when they need help. A lot of value now happens in quieter ways, like private sharing and awareness that's not tied to a public like or comment. And the algorithms on platforms like Meta and LinkedIn have adjusted too by giving more weight to shares and saves because they show that someone found the content worth keeping or passing along.
And connection still matters. A recent survey reports that 76% of all consumers say they would buy from a brand they feel connected to over a competitor. For your business, connection can be the difference between being ignored and being the one they call.
And that's why the goal is not just reach, the goal is relevance. If someone sees your post and thinks they understand what's happening here, or that's exactly the question I had, or I like how they handle that, you're building the kind of trust that generic content can't create.
So here are your 3 action steps for this week. First, look at your last 10 social media posts and ask, could this have come from any business like mine? If the answer is yes, add more real context. Second, create one post from something that actually happened in your business this week: a customer question, a project detail, a local observation, or a lesson from the field. Third, start one real conversation from your content, whether that is replying thoughtfully to a comment, sending a helpful DM, or asking your audience a specific local question.
The takeaway is this: social media fatigue is real, and AI generated content is making the feed feel even more crowded. But your local business has something that generic content does not have. You get to be the real, local, familiar face people are actually looking for. So show up as yourself, talk to your neighbors like neighbors, and you become the business that people remember when they're ready to buy.
And that's it for today's episode. You can find links and more resources at delosinc.com/episode 453. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on our actionable digital marketing tips to grow your organization.
Thanks for listening to the Get Digital Marketing Results podcast. If you're ready to simplify your marketing and build reliable growth for your business, visit us at delosinc.com to learn more.